literally, because the Southern District Agricultural Show is back at Orrisdale Farm in Ballasalla on the 26th and 27th of July. It's been going strong for 110 years, pulls in 15,000 visitors, and has everything from livestock showing to artistic masterpieces. Joining us today are two legends of the show committee, Ange Teare and Tango Hargreaves. And yes, Tango is his nickname. They're here to tell us what it takes to organise one of the island's biggest summer events and survive it with their sanity mostly intact. Let's get stuck in. That is the intro. Finished, guys. How are we?
Good.
Good, thanks.
Doing well?
Yeah.
We are.
Wonderful. So talk to me to start us off about how's the show looking this year? How's the planning going? What's it like looking forwards? How are we feeling for it?
Feeling ever hopeful and positive
Yeah.
for a decent weather in the build-up. We really need that.
We need
And we
better
need
weather.
excellent weather for show day. Not
Definitely.
too sunny, though.
Yeah.
A little bit overcast is normally
Yeah.
good.
I think I had sunstroke one year. Yeah.
And you still haven't recovered.
Never recovered.
Still affects you now.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, the Southern Show hasn't had much luck recently with weather-wise. Well, certainly since I've
I
been
think we had a run for about
involved.
10 years when we never had 2 dry days together. But last year it was 2 dry days, and it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
You know, the setting up and just the atmosphere on the show fields, and people like staying that bit longer as well, because you can just stand around, chat to people,
Yeah.
make the most of the day, and essentially you're in no hurry to go home.
No.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, with good weather, people seem to be more positive anyway, don't
A
they?
bit more relaxed about staying out, and there is plenty to see at the show.
Oh, yeah. You can do as
we-
many laps as you want, and you miss things, and you always pick something up. But it's a shame when you see a rain shower come, you see this mass exit. and
But
you're
at
like,
that point, you dash into the exhibition marquee,
Yeah,
because we always have a load of stuff on in there that you can
Yeah, it's
come and
good
look
in
and admire.
Mm. What is usually in the exhibition tent then?
Okay, so the exhibition marquee has the arts and craft, photography, garden produce,
Ooh.
farm produce, confectionery.
Yeah.
I don't think I've missed anything off that.
No.
Did I say photography?
Yeah, photography.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's a busy tent. It's under my stewardship now, and I've got an ace team of helpers.
You're in charge.
I'm in charge.
Look
I
out.
think this will be my 3rd year.
There's some very,
fourth
very
year.
talented people that enter, isn't there?
Yeah, and we are so lucky that people come and support us and put their entries in and their artwork
Got
in.
the time to go and get sheafs of this and that
Yeah,
and
and make
stuff.
the cakes. There's some amazing cakes coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Garden produce, farm produce. There's loads, and it's really lovely. You
Yeah.
know, when you walk into a tent and it's full, and there's a really nice, sort of welcoming, happy atmosphere.
Everyone's happy to talk and share things. And
Definitely.
And what I love about it is I'm really lucky. So through my work, my whole paid employment, I'm ideally placed to encourage participation in the children, particularly the children's arts and craft classes. Their it comes in through the schools like Arbury, Ballasalla, Russian, Port St Mary, Vic Road. Their parents might not necessarily know that the schools have entered some artwork. So they're going round and they look and they go, "Oh, you've won a prize!"
Yeah.
Yes.
And they've got their names on a certificate, and they can go and collect their prize money.
Yeah.
It's such a little thing,
Yeah.
but
It's like a few
I
pounds for a
actually
class.
really
It's like
like
Yeah,
nice
it's
little
incentive.
surprise, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then people who are in there appreciate the amount of effort that's gone into
yeah.
making
Into
the
it,
things and pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole show, the amount of effort that goes into it is pretty crazy. I mean, Zoe, obviously being the secretary, she puts in
Oh, a lot of time.
hours of time putting in to organise
She's
it,
married
isn't
to
it?
the job. Yeah.
For
Not big
two
foot.
for 2 days. For 2 days. Yeah, it's really quite interesting. What do you think sort of makes the show individual? What do you think makes it different?
It's the community building it, isn't it?
Community, all the helpers. We're a good little team.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's so much going on that a few weeks before, and then the planning coming up to it, all the months of meetings and stuff, isn't it? You know.
Zoe's ace at being secretary.
Yeah.
She's very calm, very organised.
Has to be, I suppose, doesn't it?
She always gets back to you on something.
Yeah,
like,
she's organised. You know, it all comes together, and we all know what part we play. It's like a jigsaw coming together in the last few days.
Yeah.
So whilst we don't all talk to each other particularly, but we all know we've got a piece to put together, and that's how it kind of works.
Yeah. Everyone's got
I'd
their
say.
niche.
Yeah.
people sort
play
of
to our
find their
strengths.
roles, don't they?
Yeah.
Especially in
Yeah.
the week up, from my experience of helping out when the week's up to do, everyone just sort of seems to
Yeah.
slot into a certain position,
Yeah.
don't
and
they?
you don't need everybody all through the year. You know, we have
Yeah.
our committee meetings with however many are there, but then 2 or 3 days before the show, there's more helpers come in to help set up the. I'll use the exhibition marquee as a prime example. I've got others that come in and help on the Saturday and Sunday for the pay gate.
Yeah.
You know, it just builds through the year.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think if you stopped and counted up how many people just
Oh.
arrived on show day to
yeah,
put that
do that
show
bit.
out to
Yeah.
the general public,
Clock in.
I think you'd be
Oh, you'd be 100.
couple of hundred.
Couple of hundred at least, yeah.
easy.
Yeah, and I think for such a big event as well, it has to have that many
Yeah,
people
you can't
helping.
do it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't do it with
15,000
less.
people
Yeah.
coming in
Yeah.
through the weekend is
Yeah.
bananas.
Yeah.
It's all the hidden stuff like the rugby clubs doing the parking,
Yes.
the hockey clubs,
Hockey clubs doing it
assisting and
this
stuff,
year as
and
well.
it's just without them the show couldn't really go on. You know, it's just it's a massive commitment that we wouldn't have 20, 30 people. Even the young
And
farmers
we're
struggle,
struggling to do it.
and it's you know, it's a lot of responsibility. It's like,
So
you
is
know,
it, when you say it like that, so we have Southern Nomads doing the car parking,
Yeah.
Castletown Hockey Club doing the car parking. That's what makes it a really big community
yeah,
event.
yeah.
It's
Very
not
true,
just,
yes.
It's not just about the farming community.
Yeah.
It's very much about the whole of the south
Yeah.
side community.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yes, it's called the agricultural show, but it's very much there for the south side community.
Yeah, definitely.
And well, the All Island
Islands, yeah.
community to come and visit
Yeah.
and support.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And have a grand day out.
Yeah, and now it's on its new site for the last 4 or 5 years, is it?
Yeah.
And it's
Great
now people
site.
go past, and that's now the show field. You know, where the show field used to be Great Meadow.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the show
The
field.
show field.
Oh, when's the show field done?
Yeah.
It kind of just needs to click in your head, and obviously social media and this podcast would be a good plug for everything. You know,
Yeah.
just to
Definitely.
you know, get that, you know, brand it in a way.
That's
you
what
know.
it needs, man.
Yeah.
And it's such a special day,
Yeah.
and it, I can't emphasize too much how varied it is to every type of person. Like
Oh,
you
yeah,
say,
yeah.
it's not just to agricultural
Yeah.
people and
Gosh,
people
no.
who are interested in agriculture. You've got the art tent, you've got the food. You can go for the bouncy castles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vikings.
Vikings.
What's
yeah,
going
Yeah,
on there?
Vikings
Talk to
are
me a
coming.
little bit about that. Vikings are pitch on the show field this year.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
as far
their
as we know.
abode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Tango, talk to me a little bit about how long you've been involved in the show.
I wouldn't
How-
say it's
how
a
long-
million years on the committee.
Or
I'm
helping out, sort of organising.
helping out, always just turned up and then sort of or turned up on Dave Cool's tractor and banged the posts in. And it's, you know, it's all these farmers and communities that beg, borrow, steal and coming together. And that's what kind of happens. It's, you know, it's
Yeah.
a
You
great
just
way
get
to
swept
work.
up in it.
It's just, you know, it's like, you know, the unsung heroes like Ray Crane has always got a tractor down there, a load of stuff, the Gords, it's the, you know, I could name drop all day.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
you know, the Kringles, but it's just all these people without them bringing these little things and people to drive, or, you know, that's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
I do is turn up and
Sometimes you need a driver
Yeah.
who hasn't got their own
kit.
their own kit.
Yeah, that's it.
And that would have been where you kind of came
That's
in.
where I come in and
suppose,
sort
yeah.
of just drive the post knocker for
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be very straight mine, but the posts are in.
That's the
10
main
out of
thing.
10 for effort.
Yeah. How long have you been involved, Ange? And that's something I'm really interested in because your family have
Right, so
huge.
Dad was involved for a long, long time, and I didn't really get involved when he was there. Well, we did a little bit, but I was a kid. I would have been like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And health and safety wasn't a thing
No.
back in the midst of time then. So
No.
when you were setting up the show field as a kid, you would go down and help, and it was a big part of our summer.
Yeah, like riding around on trailers
riding
and
around
things
on
like
trailers, you know, putting benches out. They used to collect the results in from Dad used to steward the cattle, the dairy lines, the
That's
dairy
right, yeah, and
classes,
the breeds and stuff.
and we
yeah.
used to take the results to Ray Crane in the Southern
Yeah.
100 commentary bus.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a long time ago.
How
About
many years? Was that? How many
1980.
years? Ooh,
About
50 years ago.
1980, 81. No, 40.
Sorry, 40
Yeah.
years, Angela. Sorry, no. So you've been around it for a long time.
And then when Zoe became secretary, they needed a treasurer, so
Yeah.
I went in as treasurer. So that's about 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's when I've started doing a bit more.
Yeah.
But Southern Show's
Heavily
always
involved.
been on my calendar.
Yeah.
I've only ever missed
Yeah.
2, I think, in my life.
Sort of it's 2025 now, and well, a couple of years ago, the health and safety is not kind of, it's there for everything now, no matter what you do.
Very
sort
true.
Of thing. And you got to, it's there for common sense really, but the show started to sweep up a bit better on that, so that's kind of
that's where
my
you
role
came
on
in.
the committee, a bit more,
Right, is that where you sort of come into it?
I'd always help sort of thing, but wouldn't be committed to it, but so I'm sort of health and safety.
It's like we said, play to your strengths. You understand it through your work.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yes,
got all these qualifications.
What can we do as somebody and as an individual?
Yeah.
What can we bring forward, sort of thing?
Yeah.
And I mean, for young people, if you've got a spare couple of days and want to get involved in the community and help something, I couldn't emphasize enough to come down and help with the show because you meet good people. It's a good laugh. I've never really been upset when I've been helping setting up there. I think
that's it.
Oh, I have to work on that one then.
Yeah, I think that it's just a good.
You're not being shouted at.
No.
Oh, it's time yet.
Me and Freddie Ralston used to cause some chaos down there, putting those barriers out. But I mean, we've been shouted at maybe a couple of times, but it's always been a good laugh.
That's it.
But you talk about it being 2025, Tango, or Angela, either of you can answer this. How has the show developed over the last sort of 20 years since it's moved from Great Meadow and now it's up at Orrisdale? Talk to me a little bit about.
Got a theory about this.
Talk to me a little bit about how it's gone.
So 25 years ago when you went to the show, you were quite happy to walk around and you talked to a lot of, you would have probably known a lot more people. It was more social. It was all about talking to people that you knew. It was a great opportunity to catch up with somebody that you'd not seen for probably 12 months maybe. You didn't need the on-tap entertainment that today's society expects.
Yes. Yeah.
So nowadays, families want to do things when they get to the show. They want to go. I'm going to have to think off the top of my head now.
There used to be purple helmets, sort of example.
They
Steve
want
Colley,
to go. They want. They need a main ring attraction to go and watch. They want
headline acts.
They want things that the children can participate in. Things that they can go and do, rather than just walk around and ask questions and find out things. They're wanting to actively do things. It's almost like they've got to be spoon-fed the entertainment. And it's a kind of value for your money, isn't it? It's not. It's not cheap to get in. Kids are free. Kids are free.
So it's so we want families to come. So we don't want to push them away by the gate ticket being £60 for a family, like
so we make it affordable to get in. And we try and give them as much varied entertainment that we can.
Do you think that's because people don't make conversation with strangers as much as they used to?
Yeah, probably.
So they've got to they're in their little family and they just want to enjoy their time together rather than sort of interacting and maybe talking to each other and entertaining themselves. You feel like by not spoon feed them, I don't know, that's quite a good analogy, but by putting that on the plate, they're not bored.
We don't want them to be bored. And whereas 25 years ago we would have wandered around the field, spent a good chunk of the time just chatting to people that we know, they don't know the same amount of people now.
Yes, I suppose the community's grew, hasn't it?
That's the way society's changed.
And people are walking around, they've got their phones, they're checking what's going on. I'm sure, is the show there must be like online updates of what's going on at the show throughout the weekend?
Facebook.
Surely there has to be something going on there.
I heard Percy's podcast is going
I suppose.
With this sofa coming down to the show
make a little cameo.
So I get that plug in for him there.
We've done our stints, so we'll be good.
That's it,
I mean, I'm just dead interested really in how it's developed, because to hold something like that you can't stay stuck, can you?
No,
it has to keep moving forward.
And I think with moving to Orrisdale, the Kermode's a fantastic host,
great family host,
great family to work with, and it's just breathed a bit of fresh air.
Yes, it was a change that was needed. I mean, there was nothing wrong with Great
There's
Meadow, but sometimes change is good,
moving
isn't
yourself
it?
to a new venue, you've got to think again. You've got to redesign the show fields. Think about where the car parking is. Think about pedestrian access. Think about the best way to get round the field. Perfect excuse to change the layout of let's try doing this. And I think we've changed the layout nearly every year so far.
I think so.
We have been really good at listening to feedback and tweaking it just enough to. Yes, we've listened. Does that work better? Yes, that probably does.
And it's trial and error, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Entry gate is changing this year, so people look on Facebook and they can find out the change this year, just for flow and ease for people instead of zigzagging around and stuff.
So you try and organise a more efficient route for them to go around the show.
We're hoping so. Up in the top field, there's a little lane that we've been using for vehicles and this in the setup and tidy away, but it's not great. It's not great vehicle access.
No.
So we're changing that to be the pedestrian access in. So
Okay.
that will bring you right into the top of the top field. So then you've got like a flow around the top
dribble
fields,
down and round,
then down and round, and the farmyard will be barriered off. That will be vehicle access for in the setting up and tidying away, but will be barriered off on show days.
Right. Okay.
Usual disabled parking and stuff.
When you come out of the car parking, so this is because I've never come out of the car park and gone onto the show field. You turned left.
It'd be one way, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But now you'll turn right to the pedestrian access. Is that right? Yeah. Exactly the same distance.
Yeah, I see. I can picture where I'm going here. I think.
Yeah. So you come down onto the Orrisdale Road.
Yes.
And turn right into the pedestrian access. So you'll be at the top of the show fields. You can walk all the way around it and come back out the same way.
So when you organise for people to go around, would you put, for example, like the bounty castles in a certain spot, maybe halfway round, to keep people sort of engaged a little bit longer, or would they be at the end or in the middle?
That would be down to Andrea and Bryony.
Yeah, because you don't want all your eggs in one basket.
No, exactly.
And you know, the foodies,
they're dead interested at the start. What's going to capture them?
Yeah.
What's going to capture that audience? Those 15,000 people walking through. Are they going to go bang right? We want to eat straight away.
Yeah.
Or are they going to think maybe we'll have a mooch around first, a little bit of a walk, and then maybe get some food halfway through. So that's where you put your sort of burger vans and things like that, and maybe your bouncy castle. So when the mum and dads are eating some food, the kids could be playing.
That's it. Yeah, because like the Southern Show is sort of it's kind of the top part. The main ring, and then you got the horsey field and the contractors ring and the dog display and stuff. So not everyone has the opportunity to go up to the top field for where we put the food, for example.
Yes.
So we try and dot it about, but we try and fair it out as well for the foodies, because you know not everyone wants to go to a main hub like the TT will have it all at the grandstand. It's kind of good to mix it up and have that flow of foods. They're not all competing. Then everyone gets a mix of it.
Definitely.
So you can't please everyone, unfortunately. But
no, a lot of thought does go into how we put things out and try to please everybody. But we're also very aware that we can't please everybody.
I was just going to say that,
And at the end of the day, it's a working farm.
Yeah.
We're on agricultural fields.
Yeah, 330 days a year it's working farm.
Yeah. The cattle come off fairly soon, don't they?
Yeah.
Fields get worked and prepared.
A bit of maintenance,
yeah. But essentially, it's a working farm.
Yeah, the Como family are very good to let us, do some maintenance and helping out, So it's and it's a lot of infrastructure involved that goes on behind the scenes.
The Collisters putting tents up and things like that. What's something that somebody might not expect that goes on at the show? Would you think? If someone says to you, "What's something that goes on
just
during the period?" what would you
community of people that do it every year, and without
same
them,
people
that just turn up without fail and do their bit.
I was thinking on the way here. I was thinking if you were to name drop every family that had helped, I think you'd struggle.
So many.
Oh man, oh god.
Oh, just the Kenyaks and the Camines, all the old families and the the Gorns that they all. Not they made the show effectively what it is today just by always being there. Still are the Massons sort of
and offering storage space in their sheds to keep the equipment. As the show as it grew and you needed storage space, we've got a loft, we've got a barn.
That's it.
I mean, that's one of my memories from when I was a kid. Like and setting up.
Yeah.
You'd be going to all these different places.
Yeah, down Scarlet for Skeet. We're going to get down there, Scarlet for a Skeet.
See what's going on, dragging some old dusty crap out.
Tents and benches and tables. They were all stashed away in corners of sheds under
all over the south of the island.
Because essentially it was where people, where the committee members had space in a shed.
Yeah. I think our infrastructure is kind of carbon neutral, if you could use that word.
Yeah, it's reused every year.
It's abused every year by people just shoving 100 benches in a shed and the chairs, and we've got a couple of containers that we now own and stuff, but they're on they're just on in someone's farm. They're just it's a favour, and it's just so many dots to the T's, isn't there, that people have got something in their shed somewhere harvesting something that's brilliant. And without that you couldn't afford to rent and premises and all that stuff.
If we had to pay for storage,
the show wouldn't go on anymore.
And it appeals to every generation, the show, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
It's it's got something for all ages, and that's another thing that makes it different, because sometimes events in this day and age they go into that little niche of people maybe 25 to 45 who are interested in that. And you guys have to, everyone on the committee has to try and appeal to everyone. So what is actually going on this year? What have we got lined up looking forward?
No, you see, this is where Zoe should be here. Zoe Hampton, you should be doing this.
Yeah, come on. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What's going on? What have you been listening to the committee meetings there, Tango? What's going on?
Yeah.
There was a few things that was on, from my knowledge anyway, wasn't there? I'll help you out there. They had a few big ideas.
There's a few big ideas. Nothing at the moment. I'm not.
Concrete.
Not
no.
I.
Vikings coming, definitely.
Vikings,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's lots talked about.
Yeah, there are a few things in the pipeline, but the same thing we just said about dotting the T's.
There'll be livestock there on the Saturday. I know lots of families come to see livestock, and Saturday's your best day for that.
That's so important, isn't it? Some children
Should
don't
be-
even get to touch sheep.
I know.
Yeah, that's
We've never seen a sheep
them,
up
hey?
close before. Which is bananas, isn't it, to think
Yeah.
about for people who have been involved in it like ourselves for years. There is people on the Isle of Man who aren't exposed to that
No,
livestock.
they don't know where their food and drink comes from.
And
food
sometimes
produce
you
comes
walk
from.
around and you're looking and you're thinking these people have never touched a cow or never touched a sheep, which is okay.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that
Yeah,
the show has to offer.
livestock's always popular. Tractors.
Tractors.
Tango,
yes.
get into us on
Tractors
tractors.
are
Contractor. There is talk of a contractor demonstration this year.
Okay.
Down in the bottom field. So sort of just to change it up a bit, it won't be so much a schedule, but a demonstration on bale handling or just a few different things. I think Will Duggan and Bigfoot have sort of got a few ideas in the pipeline. So just good to they have a tent, tea and coffee. It's a real social hub down there. You know, there's cakes and complimentaries down there, but sometimes a DVD on display and stuff of a load of farming footage from Jack Jiver. But it's just sort of there's always something going on. Like even on the Sunday, the Meg Lamb class. Decorating up a Meg Lamb and all that work. It's so popular. The grandstand's full, and it's...
you see kids getting dragged round by a lamb.
You tell an old school farmer that, we're going to dress up a Meg Lamb as a princess or a Tinkerbell.
Wouldn't leave you, but it's popular.
Yeah, and it is.
People seem to get involved.
Kids get the kids into it. Families go there and to see it all.
Vintage tractor, vintage machinery.
Yeah, lots of it. Yeah, a couple of displays each day.
That's a racket as well, isn't it? It's
they love it.
That's it. About all these people polishing and painting their tractors
polishing and painting their tractors.
The show, the show will be what it is.
They're really, really proud.
It's so nice to see.
It's brilliant, and they do a little drive around the main ring a few times.
3 times a day,
bit of pride in what they're doing.
And it's lovely to see.
There's so much depth with the show. There's so much depth, and that is really. Can you think? I'm trying to think. Is there anything else like it? Obviously, we've got the Royal Show, but.
We're far better than the Royal Show.
Oh, now we're getting controversial.
Oh,
No editing. That's staying in, Ange. Just knife and just give it a twist.
But the shows we work together as well.
Yeah, but it has to be. Yeah. It's good that there's two because there's competition. With competition lifts the standards.
The Southern's bit.
Royal's it's very regimented, isn't it? It's a lot of trade stands.
Just dig yourself out.
Businesses, you wouldn't get, certain fuel companies and stuff.
Southern's a bit more like a country fair show, isn't it?
Like even the car dealers and stuff, and the oil deals and all them sort of things. They're all at the Royal and the banks and stuff, where they used to be at the Southern, but they're more at the Royal now because maybe it's the footfall, I don't know. But on good days, the Southern show can have an epic footfall.
It's more, I think you're right there. It's more like a fair, isn't it?
Fair weather show,
vibe. It's not as crammed in.
That's it.
But then there is advantages to the Royal as well. It's a real promotional advantage for people to get in there and push it.
Yeah.
And
that's
good
okay.
That whilst both events are similar, they do have their differences.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and hopefully, touch wood, we'll have the tractor rides this year. And the train rides.
Are you in charge of that this year, Tango?
Thanks to the Masson family. I might do a stint. It's same thing again. All the young farmers need to muck in, and you need to get. It's the young fellas that are really interested. That want to still drive tractors, but hopefully everyone just does a little half an hour. I've done a couple of stints last year because it was right down next to the contractor's tent. But I think they're doing a quite good lap this year. But you get a free.
Changed the lap this year. It's a
if you
bigger
get a
lap,
free tractor ride, then your kids are happy.
Yeah.
It's 10-15 minutes with just like
the
adults
sit on there all day, wouldn't you? A 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Kids been running off all day, but you're contained in a trailer for 10 minutes. You're all right.
Keith's busy doing the Sunshine Express.
Sunshine Express, yeah. So massive families.
I've seen the picture of that train.
Ballinevin Compost are very good to always loan a tractor. And DEFRA for the trailer. So, again, there's DEFRA involved, there's Ballinevin Compost. There's all these people with unsung heroes that are helping out, It's just, the list would be endless. If you had to do, like, the credits at the end of a movie for the Southern show.
Maybe we should do it.
Well, yeah,
To
definitely.
be fair, and
Just put the
just
credits in the
probably
back of the
not-
show.
Yeah, put them on
schedule.
Percy's edits at the end.
Yeah.
of
Probably
this.
not really a bad. That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea because at least everyone gets their little bit of appreciation.
Oh,
then,
100%.
don't they?
Yeah, yeah. And you don't want to forget
Until you
anyone
miss
either.
somebody
I
off.
know,
Oh
yeah.
boy, that's game over then,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's it.
It's
You all know who you are at the end.
yeah,
Yeah.
just- that's it. And
Yeah.
do you have to sort of take a bit of time to think about planning? Do you have like a brochure or like a leaflet or something that you give people on the way through the door?
There's
or?
programs you can buy.
Programs,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
got maps when you come in
Yeah.
the gate.
There's a few
show where
big,
you are.
massive maps that
Yeah.
are out and about. So
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I'm
we have
just
a
trying
big
to get-
board this year, don't we?
Yeah.
yeah,
big
trying to
board.
get traffic funneled into all the gates to make sure that, well, not the traffic police, the people, you know,
People.
to go, because people are like, oh, we didn't know where the train rides were, the train and the tractor rides were. It was through this 10-foot gate, but a 10-foot gate isn't a big arrow for people. You're like, yeah, woo, you know, so it's hard to get people going to the horsey field.
We've had
and
we've
back
had
up.
signposts up as well.
Yeah, that's
Belinda's painted
Oh, brilliant,
signposts in the
yeah.
past.
So that's what a few people, you know, you got to listen to feedback. Like last year, people said, "Oh, we didn't know about the tractor rides, didn't know about this, and this, and all the contractors saying, well, it was right next to where you were. You've been in the horses, but that leads into there as
Open
well.
thy eye.
So
Yeah.
it is hard, you know, and you know, it's no one's fault. It's just something you can pick up from and stuff, you know. And people like said last year, we'd done a great job. It was a great Saturday.
Yeah.
And people like, oh, the picnic areas where the grass was a bit long. Well, that's dietary requirements, and you kind of like, yeah, we could cut all the grass because we did prep the fields and topped it all, but then a few days later,
Grass
it's kind
does
of
grow.
grows
Grows.
6 inches in a week, you know, and it's like, oh no. So it's kind of, yeah, I can see that point, but how much do you put into it for picnics and stuff, you know? So
Yeah.
and there was a lot of people picnicking last year
Yeah,
around
there were.
the main ring and stuff. You know,
Just chilling out.
yeah, it was a real hot
Makes
day.
it affordable as well.
Yeah,
well,
that's
it can
it,
be make it
Yeah,
more
well, that's
affordable,
you know,
then,
that,
can't it?
whilst there's like food vendors on site,
Yeah.
you can bring your own picnic if you are like wanting to keep your costs down because everybody's
Yeah.
mindful.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
you know, you
100%,
can bring
especially if
your
you've got
own-
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you've got
Yeah.
3
Oh,
kids,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can get the
you
pretty
can
quick
bring your
on
own,
it.
That's
you know,
it.
bring your own picnic on.
Yeah.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
advantage, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be able to, people just sometimes they just want to go somewhere and chill out and enjoy the vibe,
Yeah.
and not
That's
get
it,
robbed for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What is an entry for an adult?
Ooh, it'd be
Ooh,
awful to
£8
£8 this year, and kids still
£6
free,
and
like we said.
£8, same as last year.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's the big
Best
plus.
That's
to
affordable.
The best way is to book
Yeah.
online beforehand as well. Then
Yeah.
you're straight
Online
in.
bookings as well.
Online
Okay.
Yeah.
bookings beforehand.
Well, and get a
Um,
little, you get a little ticket or
You'll
something
get
on
your
your
QR
phone.
code,
Yeah.
QR
and then you
code, yeah.
scan straight in.
Yeah, that.
I
I
mean, you
think,
can still pay cash on the gate. That's fine.
And it is a family show, isn't it? And
yeah.
you know, if we were to start charging the kids, then we're not going to get the families in.
Yeah.
You know, so that
and the
you
families
can
what
bring-
make
for
the
them.
vibe,
Yeah,
isn't
you
it?
can bring dogs as well.
Yeah.
Dogs on a lead.
Dogs on a lead.
Short lead,
Yeah, short
not
lead.
one of these big long
Yes.
malarkey stretchy
Yeah.
ones.
Otherwise,
That's
we
it.
wrapped around people's legs and all
Yeah,
sorts.
most inconsiderate. Short leads.
Most
that's it.
incons- You don't want to go around Tango's legs,
Yeah.
guys. Big old bang.
Look out.
You'd fall with a bang Tango. So
I
we've
bounce.
so we've sort of talked about the planning of the show, what the show entails, how it's looking.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about what happens after the shows. Come the Monday.
Everyone,
What's-
everyone legs it.
What's the Monday
No,
look
there's
like?
there's still a lot of tidying up to do. You know, just the lit
It's
pick and
amazing how
and
quickly
Yeah.
the show tidies
down, yeah,
away.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and fair weather again needs to be on board to
Yeah,
put
you
the
need a
tents
good,
away
day,
dry.
a good day to get the
you know,
tents down.
There's a good
Yeah.
team of Colossus families that just they do all that work, and it's a lot of work, isn't it?
But within
Yeah.
a matter, we're quite lucky in a way because a lot of the stuff that we get out then goes straight up to the Royal Manx.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Oh, really?
So it's cleared off our site and
Yeah.
goes up to the Royal
And-
Manx.
and
But the
that's
tents and things, or
yeah,
or the
tents,
or-
tables,
the
benches,
Oh,
grandstand,
stands, yeah,
yeah.
barriers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
that helps with the clean-up
yeah,
process.
and that's like Ray Crane's full-time job. He's
Yeah.
shipping everything out to the Royal because he's on the committee for there,
Uh-huh.
and he's like back forth. And without these
Yeah.
people tidying up, it would all just still be there a month later. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
you know?
that makes it probably a bit
So-
better for the Southern Show that we have to just ship it all up to the Royal
Yeah,
Manx.
that's it. Yeah, we've got that
There's a
tie.
sense-
You
Yeah,
can have
there's
that.
there's a
Urgency.
timeline.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a sense of urgency. It gets done.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're at the Royal and you're packing in, it'd be like, oh,
I think
Yeah.
I think
Up till
Simon
Christmas.
last year, Simon Fithian, he
Yes,
arranged
his
for his
employee. Yeah.
workplace colleagues to come in and do some tidying up on
Yeah.
the Monday.
And they
as well.
set up as
And
well.
they they were.
railings and
Tell you what, that
benches.
made a difference.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
So,
putting
yeah.
tables down.
Yeah.
You don't think about it. I mean, it's always the same. You're setting things up, you don't mind. But
Yeah.
when it comes to taking things down,
Yeah.
like,
And I think it's kind of it comes part of like workplace mental health thing
Yeah.
to get you out of the workplace.
Get
You're
them
in
out and about.
work, but their work's paying for them to be there, so it's a kind of like a donation to us.
Yeah.
So obviously, then that's where I come in again. I've got to do a risk assessment to cover these people we're now accountable for. But fund police again, but it's a few lines.
Yeah.
Tick the box, we're covered.
And
so
it's actually a really
the
big
show
help
still
for us.
goes. Oh, 100%, yeah.
Which it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
It makes it more efficient. It makes the running of it better.
Yeah.
And it's trying to keep that bit of motivation to get it all packed away. Can sometimes be tricky with the committee members who've spent a full week and a half setting up.
Your
2
energy
days,
levels are pretty low, but if you
yeah.
bring in
a nice little boost,
a dozen staff, a dozen
You'll get it
office
done
staff,
quick.
who are,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's gone,
yeah.
ready for another year.
Yeah.
And then do the meetings start straight away again after, thinking,
Normally
looking
have
forward?
one
Debrief a month after.
Yeah, we didn't have one in August last year,
yeah.
but it's normally
It's nice to have a break, isn't it? Yeah.
by September we're ready to go again.
Back into it.
Into it.
It's a full year thing, though, isn't it?
It has to be.
It takes so much planning. What would you personally, if you could improve one thing about the show Tango or Ange, what would your personal?
We'd have to get rid of that
opinion be?
hill, wouldn't we?
Yeah, the big rolling hill.
You not like the hill?
But I don't mind the hill. I have no problems with the hill.
To improve the show, it's the infrastructure, isn't it? But at the end of the day, it's a working farm where you go to a show where they've got tracks, they've got lanes, they've got all these things to get these things in. So we had a washout this year, say 3 weeks before the show. You couldn't get half the stuff on there, so it kind of
muddy.
It's just I'd have.
We're not going to. It's going to be lovely weather.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be lovely weather. But what would you improve, Tango? What would you improve personally?
I think it's just the entertainment, the catchment. It's that. It's the budget for that as well. Obviously
the budget and getting people to commit to come into the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
So you want away for people from away to come over for the entertainment? Is that what you're trying to imply? You don't want not interested in Manx entertainment.
Yeah. We're well supported by the local Manx entertainment.
Yeah.
I'd like to think like the Russian Twirlers and Sarah's Zest for Life are coming back this year with the things that they've done in the main ring.
Groups,
it just passes. It's something for 10, 20.
Bit of noise, bit of visuals,
Yeah.
keeps people sort of moving, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just. I think
But
it's
it's
the only
just
thing. It's entertainment.
because
We've done the purple helmets for a few years in a row, and it was like great. People everyone loves the purple helmets, and they do stay for it, but you kind of got to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
There's no new things like that coming
What's
through.
missing? Why is that not happening? Do you think? Why is there nothing like that coming through on the Isle of Man?
I don't know. It's sort of you have that big gap, don't you? And it's like in even the young farmers. There's a lot of young fellas around now where for a few years there was no young fellas coming through the ranks, and then there's
it's
that
probably
wave now.
Health and safety
Yeah,
would have changed things.
Yeah.
Right.
Lack
Insurance.
of insurance.
Yeah.
Lack of freedom.
Lack of freedom. Time constraints.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all little things that sort of go into the pot to build up.
Little things that when you say, "Oh, we would have just gone and done that."
Yeah.
Now you can't just go and do that because you've got to think of safety.
Consequences of things.
Because we did the lawnmower
parade.
Yes.
Well,
What was?
call it a
I was
race.
just going to bring that up. What was that like?
That was absolutely. It was a hit. It was a hit. People had their lawnmowers on trade stands, and I had mine on with a bucket seat and stuff. I robbed off a car, and it was just all flames and on the
men having a bit
stickers.
of a cock off.
Oh,
so
that's
to
it.
speak.
Yeah. So it was just and it was just a laugh, and people, and then Kieran Gray, he'd done like a video edit of the day afterwards, and it was brilliant. It was just like he kind of made something that was a bit rough and ready, like it was like into like a proper video edit, like a race, and there's like people holding umbrellas above me just joking around. It's like my brolly dollies, and like that was part of the edit, like it's like the TT or something, and it was just funny, and it was so popular.
Can you not do that now? Can you not do
Yeah,
that again?
Talk about it
With the health and safety
again.
sort of side of things, how does that affect it?
Yeah, but if you call it a parade, you can sort of avoid the sort of fun police on it a bit. So it's sort of,
a bit more leeway.
Yeah. So it was good. There's a lot of entries when we were doing it, and mine went on fire. So it was smoking and everything, and then I was pretending to be on a John Deere, as you do.
Yeah.
And then my mate edited the picture. Kev Cool put out a picture. Nothing runs like a deer, and the smoke hammering out of it. I was like, oh no way.
Smoking like a chimney.
Just all these people like with edits, and it just makes it. It's a good memory.
That's what, and there's something like that would make this Southern show stand out even more than what it already does.
And that was after the Grand Parade, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So
another
reason,
I
was just going to say, like I said before, if you have good weather, you stay there for longer.
Yeah.
With
Do
having
you
that-
attend?
Yeah, the year the lawnmowers parade,
Yeah.
you did wait to see
The
kind of
end.
what was
They
going to
said
go
just-
wrong. Really.
Exactly.
You don't want
Breakdowns.
to. I always
Yeah.
say that. That was when things go wrong. That's what gives you the memory.
Yeah, and people were like you were saying, like the car off. They were like everyone's zooping them up, and the boys hadn't tuned up. Bobby Coleman had a go kart in it, engine in it. It was like now
Fuel,
there's cheating going
now
on.
we're going.
Yeah,
Now
race
we're
fuel
moving.
next.
That's something that we need, and it's something that's different.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
that was different.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
really
And it kind of was
individual.
a one-off.
I think it was a
one or
one-off to
two.
my
One or
memory.
two,
One or
maybe.
two,
Yeah, I
maybe.
can't remember. Yeah,
How could we bring something like that back?
We'll leave that to
Yeah.
you, Percy.
yeah.
You're well placed within the Southern Young Farmers to
Putting pressure on
And that
me
was
now,
a lot of the
Ange.
young farmers just getting on board.
get yourself
you know.
in. Get yourself in the Southern Young Farmers as chairman.
Buy into something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See
there we
what's
go.
going on. Maybe try and muck in together.
Percy for chairman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blumens.
Start the
Come
campaign.
on
Yeah,
It is
now.
hectic diary.
Yeah.
That would be
Percy
interesting.
for chairman, Southern Young Farmers, and then you can.
Start
Okay.
branching out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that would be class for the show, wouldn't it? And
Yeah.
to have the Southern Young Farmers fully involved in the show as well.
Yeah.
Make that
They
on the
are
Southern
good- they
Young
are good
Farmers
to help.
calendar.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
good to help.
And everyone
make.
brings a friend of,
Yes.
always
friend.
without that, and everyone's kids getting involved and running around and just putting bins out and stuff. And
Yeah.
they love it, you know.
Put kids in
Yeah.
bins.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
We know where you are now.
yeah. Well,
Correct.
we just need like one year at the Royal Show they were struggling, for example, not to plug them too much, Ange will be kicking me. But we'd done Cramacorsa, so I think I was Fed chairman.
Oh God!
yeah, so
yes,
that's
I
why.
was
What's a
secretary.
Cramacorsa?
So Andrew was Fed secretary, so the young farmers got asked to put something on. So I was like, I'll think of something, and then last minute I had this course I bought off a mate for £100, so I drove to the show, Cramacorsa, and all the clubs had a competition to
Most
see.
of that stuff the show.
Yeah, I think
See
we
how
could
many
do
people
that.
could get in.
Yeah.
Oh!
Andrew's car's a bit of a scrapper. We could bring that in.
You're not.
Needs a valet.
Give him a smack, Ange. Well, yeah, that's a good idea.
Phil
Yeah.
Cramacorsa.
Cramacorsa.
Where
and
the
it-
hell?
Pack a Peugeot.
Back of Peugeot, yeah. So just
We
it's
could do
something
something
so
like that, couldn't we?
simple, and
Yeah.
then
Phil Ford.
you won't bring your best car, but it's
No, would you?
someone's
Heck.
old scrapper and just fun, you know. So
Yeah, ram
and
everyone
and
in it.
just even just the kids' sports
Zoe,
on the day.
if you're watching this, you need
Yeah.
to.
I'm not doing a risk assessment for that.
Something like that would be good because how many people? I mean,
I think there's 18, maybe Easton
Can't
won it by
remember.
18, but they had a lot of young ones. So
little fellas in
Little
there
ones.
all
they
crammed
beat us,
into each
so-
other.
But you could just have kind of a. I don't know. You could have it too open to the public, but
No, I think
it's,
you have to keep it
to the young
young
farmers
farmers.
and insurance. But it was good. Just a a little 10 minutes of entertainment. You know, that's all it was probably.
How come
So-
there's not like a big hoo-ha, big beer tent at the Southern Show? There is a
There
beer
is.
tent there, but how
Yeah,
come there's like not like
Sign-
a late night
not s-
party?
The Signs used to do it, didn't they? But I think it's the
Foraging Vinters, no.
no.
Can't
Can't
remember.
remember his name. Yeah.
But- but- but-
He's listened to last year's feedback though.
But will that go
and it'll
till
be-
8 o'clock, or will that go to 10 o'clock,
Oh,
or
I don't know. That's Zoe's
Yes.
territory.
I
She
think
should be
it all
here.
depends on the alcohol licensing
Yeah,
committee,
Zoe
doesn't
should
it?
be
Yeah.
here doing this. She knows all
Yeah.
the
like
technical
a
questions.
like a party or something? Because it's a 2-day over the weekend, a Saturday night party would be.
Yeah.
That's something we could maybe think about bringing in.
Yeah. It's well, probably he's twisting our arm there, isn't he? Bands. I think there is a bit of music on,
There's a bit
isn't
of
there?
busking
Surely there
music.
must be a bit of busking
Yeah.
going on.
Busking
Has to be.
music. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's busking music throughout the day.
Because that appeals to your 18 to
Yeah.
sort of 30-year-olds,
that's it,
then who
yeah.
want to sit down and have a
Yeah.
few beers and a bit of a
Yeah.
natter.
That's it. So
Trying to
hopefully there'll
attract
be
to everybody.
less queues this year for the bar. They kind of listen to that feedback and
Yeah.
stuff because it was a bit cocktaily
Ah.
beer and stuff, and it's kind of like you're trying to rebrand out, which is
Yeah.
great to please everyone, but it kind of doesn't suit the mass.
No,
the
you want to
hard
be
drinkers
pouring
and in, out.
quickly and
Yeah.
getting it done
Yeah.
sort of.
And it was hot again last year, wasn't it? It was really that Saturday was really hot again.
I mean, the weather we've
Yeah.
had recently is diabolical. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it,
hopefully
yeah,
this
touch wood.
wet fortnight is out of the way and we're
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
another
I mean,
6-week run of good weather.
I mean, we've sort of covered everything. I think we sort of need to cover. Can
Mm-hmm.
you think of anything else that the show needs to push? What else? What else do people need to be aware of? What's happening? What's going on? Any teasers?
We're always looking for sponsorship as well. and
Sponsorship, but yeah,
the headline sponsor, yeah. So if any companies are
because
interested.
we would name drop.
Yeah.
At every opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It needs pushing forward if there's a sponsor. So
Somebody out
sponsorship.
there wants to sponsor
Maybe
us.
if anyone has any ideas, if you listen to this and you've had a thought
Yeah.
about what the show or what could make the show different or
Yeah.
improve the show,
Yeah.
then
Drop us
please
a-
get in
yeah,
touch with
get
Zoe
in touch.
Hampton
Zoe.
Yeah.
or the Southern Show Facebook page, anything
Yeah.
like that. Because sometimes when you know, with 50, 100 people, 650 people listening to this, one person might just have a ding.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
And
Light
it's something
bulb.
that we've not thought about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what
And
exposure
equally,
gives, isn't it?
When it's showtime, we're all actively involved on the show field.
Yeah.
You know, we're almost on tunnel vision,
Mm-hmm.
but it might be something that's happening in the car park.
Or it could be just right in front of your
you that
face.
you're not
Yeah.
seeing, but that
Yeah.
we're just not seeing because
Yeah.
we're so used to seeing things, and it takes somebody from outside to, why are you not doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is the question
know,
we should
that's it,
ask.
And so, you know, somebody might be thinking, why don't they do it this
Yeah,
way?
definitely.
But it's so obvious we're not seeing it.
Blinkered by this.
Yeah,
this
but
week
Because
for
it's
20
so
years.
Yeah.
intense,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
busy
Yeah,
month.
we're happy to listen to
Oh,
feedback.
100%. Yeah, the committee's very open.
The
so-
feedback
Yeah.
makes it improve anyway,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
it? So I think that's something we can definitely, if you're listening to this, literally just reach out, and if you've got an idea, send
Yeah,
it, because
yeah.
it's going to help no matter what, whether you take it on board or not. It's still a contribution from people
Yeah.
in the community, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably just first thing to get in is probably a big thank you to. I'd love to name drop everybody that helped, but I think they all know who they are, and hopefully some of them are listening. And just say thank you to all them unsung heroes and helpers,
Yeah.
farmers, contractors, you know,
Pull it all
committee
together.
members, families, everyone. Just
It's their
even
families
visitors,
as well.
or,
that
you know,
because it hits showtime,
Yeah.
and there's no meals on the table.
no. That's it, yeah.
Washing
Exactly,
doesn't
yeah.
get done.
That's it.
Tango doesn't look like a
No.
man who misses meals, though, and let's be real.
That's shy of a fish up there.
I mean, neither do I. I mean, that would be my first concern: is am I getting fed today?
But you know, it's things like that you know your whole lifestyle changes for so many weeks,
Weeks of the year,
and
yeah.
it impacts on the whole family.
Oh yeah,
not,
yeah,
I mean, it's great if the whole family's on the
Buy
show
in
field.
if everyone buys in.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But that's not the case for everybody.
no.
But keep an eye out for the socials, I think, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be
that's the
pushing
way-
that this
We'll be
year.
pushing
We're going to
that,
push that.
yeah.
That needs to be pushed, I
Yeah,
think,
what are we on?
definitely.
6 weeks to go? Is that
6
something?
weeks.
Yeah, that
Finally,
needs to
yeah.
be. We need
Yeah.
weekly,
Yeah.
twice
Weekly,
weekly
yeah.
posts,
Yeah.
sort of getting them out consistently, pushing the word out there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
firing it out and seeing what's going on.
Yeah. We look forward to what's the Skeet at the show again. Like I
Yeah,
said
I think
before,
that's going
so-
to be exciting now.
Yeah, it'll be something different. You could get a few celebrities on board there.
I'm trying to work out
Noel
how I want
Edmonds.
to
Noel
run
Edmonds. I was
it.
just going to
Yeah,
say
I've
Noel
seen him
Edmonds
there
last year.
year.
Is that
He was there.
Jews?
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to try and I think I need to sit down with the committee and sort of just work out roughly what we're going to do and make a little bit of a plan and see how we want it to run, because I could go around talking to people
Yeah.
Yeah.
to try and
Do
get
both.
people's feels
yeah,
for
your
it.
TT stuff was brilliant. So I think
Yeah, go around and do
if you
5
can
max
just bring
minutes
that
with
and just
people.
grab, you know, some local celebrity, farmer celebrity, you know, and people love that because that's memories. Then you know you can go
Yeah.
back and YouTube
Yeah,
and watch
that's
that and the
there.
passings. Oh look, you know, such.
Some of
and-
the farming characters, the older,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
older
Yeah.
generation.
And some like real Manx characters don't go to the show, and you're like, you're missing
What?
out.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. But it's exposure for the show, and that's
Yeah,
the main
that's
thing,
it.
isn't it? This show people need to know it's on.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can help push
Yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah,
forwards, because it's
definitely.
something that I've been involved in with
You
these
just,
Yeah,
want to
years.
you just want it to keep on being able to continue because it's done 110 years.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
5 different venues. Is it 5 different show
Yeah.
fields?
Yeah. What would it be? Oh, it was opposite my house in the Meadows, wasn't
Oh,
it?
really?
Yeah, I didn't realise it was there till I
That's
moved
about
in.
1972, 71. It was there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I went to it there. That's
Great
how
meadow.
old I am.
No, you're young, Ange. You don't look
Yeah.
old. Don't. No, never. No.
I was only a baby.
Yeah.
I was a baby.
Wow.
Um,
But no, that's sort of a nice way to
but it's,
start
yeah,
rounding
you know,
this
you
up,
just
I think.
want it to
Yeah.
keep, you know,
Keep pushing
we want
forward.
Yeah.
we want to honour the memory that's kept it going for 110 years.
Yeah. That community.
You know, to do another
But we
100.
also want to keep moving with
keep
the
moving
times.
with the times,
Yeah, yeah.
embrace change,
Not
and
forget
keep,
the
and hope that
heritage.
it's there in another 110 years.
Yeah, not
in
forget the
whatever
heritage,
format.
but move with the times.
Hashtag bigger and better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep moving forwards. Change is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something we've got to cut.
Yeah.
I mean, change. Ugh, I'm not a man who loves change, but I do think it is the correct route to go in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just got to move with the times.
Yeah.
100%.
And just because you've always done it like this for the last 30 years does not mean it still needs to be done like that.
Yeah.
For the
I
next 30
agree with
years.
that. I agree with that. That's a
Yes.
big message to put out there, because change has to be made so
Yeah.
things can improve.
Yeah.
And by having that, it can push it forward. But no, thank you very much, guys. Get after
you.
the Southern Show if you're listening to this. Give them a follow and comment some ideas. You guys seem
Yeah,
like you
great,
guys
yeah.
are all about ideas.
Thanks for having us.
No,
Yeah,
pleasure.
thank you.
very much, guys. Perfect. That was great.
So you're going to edit in the candle?